Hello, it's Greg Grizzly and Gaijin. We're back. We hope you're having a happy day wherever you're listening to this audio content from. As always, we'd like to thank you for your continued support of Greg Grizzly and Gaijin's social media and writing efforts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is episode 026 of the Greg Grizzly and Gaijin, definitely not a podcast show. A light and fluffy look at social media, Japan, Japanese food, expat life, and life in general. As always, your retweets of this and all the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful content that we actively tweet and retweet out on Craig Hoffman 11 on Twitter is appreciated. Thank you in advance for your help in getting the good word out about Greg, Grizzled, and Gaijin. Today's show is another good one. We are talking about mentoring people on social media who are in content creation, blogging, and writing. I get a lot of emails and direct messages from content creators, especially since I have been back in public writing the last 2+ years. I think some of that comes with people who see my blog and the number of posts that I have been able to produce, now more than 500, closing in on 520, I think, at about the time of this cast. It also comes from people, no doubt, seeing my growth on Twitter. And I would like to think from people seeing my consistent effort to reach out to people on Twitter and offer assistance and help and being a beacon to some degree that people can come to when they are struggling in their content creation, writing, or social media endeavors. It doesn't mean I know everything. If you've followed me on Twitter for any length of time, or my blog, or you know me in real life, I'm not without some gray matter. There are many smarter people in the world, I have no doubt. There are many bigger people on Twitter, I'm sure. There are many better writers in the world, I am sure. And certainly there are probably many more creative people than I am. But my unique quality is the combination of all of those things at high levels is pretty rare. I meet a lot of good writers who are terrible editors, for example. I meet a lot of editors who are terrible writers. I meet a lot of writers and editors who are not creative at all. And I meet a lot of people who are good writers, creative, and good editors who would not help someone in a clock shop to know what time it is. And that's the way it goes in life. But mentoring people doesn't mean doing everything for them. It doesn't even mean that you're giving the right answers for them. You're simply giving a direction that you might take if you were them. Most of my mentoring, I hope, on social media, writing, and blogging is what people pick up from seeing my content. And I know that's true because I do different marketing things, for example, on Twitter, different graphics and different things in my blog. And if I look across many of the great content creators who follow me, I see them doing similar posts and similar stylistic things. I got an email from a content creator and said, "Hey Craig, doesn't that make you really angry when someone copies you?" But there's a great quote, "Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery." And I also added that that's exactly what they should be doing because it works. And it does. I'm not immune to that. I spend an inordinate amount of time looking at great content creators. I don't want to steal their ideas. I want to use their ideas in a new and novel way to take my content into a new and better direction. I was in music for years. I studied the greats, Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, Haydn, all the jazzers. Amazingly, all of the great composers shamelessly stole and ripped off from everyone. And if it was 2018 and they were doing that, most of them would be in some court on some copyright violation. But we don't remember the people that they stole from, generally. We remember only the great people and what they did with the stolen, quote-unquote, material. But when you mentor someone too, you have to realize that there is a person involved, especially when you're a beta reader, for example, or someone has asked you to edit something and the direction that they're going in, perhaps from, of course, in my case, my experience, I know it's kind of a, quote, dead-end direction, and you would love to tell them at the top of your lungs, hey, dude, or dudette, there's a lot of great women writers out there, make a U-turn. But sometimes writers, right or wrong, choose a direction to go with a project, and you're not really going to be very effective by telling them to turn around. But in that case, I generally try to get them to at least consider the possibility that they might turn a little. And when they turn a little, it's my hope that if they turn enough, they see that a U-turn is perhaps the best way to go. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And especially when you're deep editing, people, writers, there's a lot of ego. I'm not immune to that. I love me. I tell people all the time, my favorite person in the world is me. Students laugh at me all the time. I say down to like number 10, my favorite person in the world is me. And they're shocked and they say, well, how can your favorite person in the world be you? That's so terrible. And I said, well, why would I be number 2 on my list if this is my life? It happens, right? But when you have a lot of ego and then the red marks or the deletions start coming in bunches, people tend to take it personally, and even worse, some of them take it as an affront to their, quote, English ability. And I've written in other stuff, it's nothing personal when I edit. In fact, I've written, the trolls take that personal. Oh, Craig, you hate women. Oh, Craig, you like this. Oh, Craig, you must be crazy. Oh, Craig, I'm a very normal person who works a ton. People who know me in life to a person will tell you I'm hardworking, I'm clever, I'm a great, great, great person to know. But I'm also a creative writer, and I push the boundaries and limits of creativity in some effort to create something unique and original that will be remembered long, long, long after I am put in some little grave here in Japan next to my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful wife's relatives. And I have a thick rhino skin that makes that effort quite easy for me, but that's not everyone, especially among young writers and content creators. You can't just, quote, tell it like it is, end quote, as I often do on my blog. You have to kind of use the kid-gloved approach. And sometimes you simply have to let people fail for them to see the bigger picture. And I know that happens a lot with new foreigners who come to Japan. When I was first a senpai, an older mentor to some of the kohai, the younger people here, I tried to help them with everything at the bank, the convenience stores, the cell phones, daily life, school life, in an effort to help them avoid the pitfalls and failings that had befallen me in my early days here in Japan. And that worked for some of them. But then when it was time for them to do things on their own, I had often given so much help that they couldn't do anything alone. Later, as I gained more experience as a mentor to new foreigners, I allowed people to do what they could do and fail in situations where it didn't really matter. If we go to McDonald's and they ordered the wrong thing on the menu, life goes on if they got the chicken sandwich instead of the double cheeseburger. Of course, in situations where it was much more dire, like a dentist or a doctor, I helped them a lot, because that's not a situation where someone should fail. Writing, editing, and blogging is the same way. I know a lot of people who do a lot of things that certainly are never going to appeal to a large audience. That's just the way it goes. And I often say, just keep at it, just keep at it, just keep at it, because I'm not 100% right. Sometimes the social media landscape surprises me. There are bloggers and content creators who take angles on Japan that I would never think in a million years would be popular, and they are. Being a mentor doesn't mean you're always right. It just means that you're always there. So the next time you ask someone for help, hopefully you are asking someone who really believes in you. And when you are that person for someone, I hope, right or wrong, whether you believe deep down they will be successful or a big failure, you believe in your ability and your duty to lead by example in life and on social media. That's it, and have a great day.